Brian Moran, founder of Government CIO. Welcome to Government CIO Magazine.
Hi, this is Tiffany Longstrat with Government CIO. We will be interviewing the Chief Information Officer at United States Department of Agriculture, Miss Cheryl Cooke.
OCE, or Optimized Computing Environment program, is a very important part of the future for our field-based agencies, Farm Service Agency, Natural Resources Conservation Service, and Rural Development, who get their end-user support from my shop here in the Office of the Chief Information Officer, rather than having to provide it 3 times where they're required by Congress to be co-located in the field. That would be stupid, so we do it once. Kind of a funny story, actually. The field offices first really computerized and got their very first servers in the 1990s during the Clinton administration. And in the last year of the Clinton administration, having served 7 years as the state director for rural development in Pennsylvania, I was given the opportunity to come down here on a detail because the servers hadn't gotten out yet. And I guess I had been complaining the loudest or something about not having had that technology in the hands of the people who really needed it. So I had to tell my staff now in OCIO to please stop referring to those servers as the really old servers, because they had gotten them from me, and you're making me feel old, and there's enough things already in my day that make me feel old, so stop that. But it was really the first time the optimized computing environment gave us the first opportunity in almost 20 years to refresh what our field operations are using for their core service every single day. It's made a huge difference. What we're doing differently this time is we're actually including an operations and maintenance tail, so that in the out years, as we need to replace and continue modernizing, the resources are there to try to do that. What we've done in this past year, especially with the optimized computing environment funds, is help to squish the data that's traveling through our tubes, optimizing our network in the field, because we've got several modernization programs that rely heavily on geospatial data. And we're making a model now for the rest of the department to see that this is how you actually make the best use of the pipes you've already got. And as a result of the contract that we led to get the optimized computing environment rolling, now we've been able to help some other agencies too. Last year USDA celebrated its 150th anniversary, and you can collect some data in 150 years, as it turns out. Much of it not machine readable. Open data and wrestling big data is one of the most exciting things that we've got going on, and I'm happy to report my office isn't dragging everybody else. It's the business side dragging us. We want to be able to release this data to the public. Back in April, Secretary Vilsack was able at the G8 event for open data in agriculture to provide a release of just mountains and mountains of data that our research and science agencies and some of our social science agencies had accumulated over the years to try to help third world nations become more food secure. There's so much more of that we can do. If you think about the productivity in agriculture in this country in the 20th century, really since our inception, Abraham Lincoln, when he created USDA with the help of the Congress in those days, probably 2/3, 3/4 of the American population had to live and work on the farm for the nation to feed itself. Today, less than 2% of our population lives and works on the farm for the nation to feed itself and millions of other people around the world. A lot of the technology that brought on that productivity started with research and extension efforts at USDA. And if we can figure out how to share that with the rest of the world, we literally have the solution to end world hunger at our fingertips. We just have to figure out the right way to present it to folks that they can use it no matter what their circumstances are. Security is one of our top priorities, and as you can imagine, with 98,000 employees in 43 countries, thousands of offices, it's one of those things that keeps me up at night. Well, actually, nothing keeps me awake at night because I live in Pennsylvania and I drive home and just drop right over and fall asleep. But it's one of those things that makes me pound the steering wheel as I'm driving home at night, let's say that. Security is a huge issue here. Collectively, we're spending about $81 million on security monitoring tools at USDA every year, and continuous monitoring is going to give us an opportunity to streamline a lot of that, lower cost for agencies, and allow them to reinvest those dollars in other areas that are really quite necessary beyond the tools to make sure that we in fact are secure. It's really not the technology, it's the human beings who use it. And we invest comparatively little in our employees in reminders about things like not opening those emails that promise you might have $1, or that, please fill out this survey and we'll give you this gift card. Well, there's no survey and there's no gift card. You're just making the whole department at risk if you open that email. We have entirely too much lost equipment still that we need to be better tracking and monitoring how employees are taking care of their mobile devices especially. So there's more to do on that ounce of prevention side. We're calling it Operation Ben Franklin. Since among many, many things, Ben Franklin is famous for the Farmer's Almanac. He's a good guy for USDA. But he's famous for the saying that the ounce of prevention is worth the pound of cure. So we're going to be rolling out under the banner of Ben Franklin a number of security awareness measures designed to help agencies and employees remember that we do need to be more secure, and continuous monitoring is an important step in that. If you try to log on to a USDA computer today, the first thing you see is a screen with Ben Franklin flying our HSPD-12 PIV card instead of a kite, reminding everybody that HSPD-12 is an important step in our security. So trying to make it fun, but remind people at the same time. Well, within OCIO we have both internal and external customers, right? So starting with our external customers, particularly for farmers and ranchers, a lot of our programs go all the way back to the Roosevelt administration, and so do the delivery structures. If you want to sign up for a USDA program, you pretty well have to go to a USDA office in order to do that. Most of our field-based agencies are actively working on modernization efforts that will make that no longer a requirement, to allow customer self-service through the web or through mobile devices, allow our employees to actually bring the program to the customer instead of making the customer get in the car and drive to the USDA office. Already our Farm Service Agency, through their MIDAS program, has rolled out their first release that, especially for farmers who live near me where you're close to a county line, if your farm happens to cross over a county line, prior to MIDAS you actually had to go to 2 county offices if you wanted to sign up for the program because all of the data was held locally. Now the farmer can go to one office at least and get the whole farm enrolled in the program. So it's an important step forward to be able to share that data across those lines. Similarly, the Natural Resources Conservation Service has what they call their Conservation Delivery Streamlining Initiative, where they are looking at their own employees and they're spending 75% of their time chained to a desk filling out paperwork. Their objective is to flip that and let those folks spend 75% of their time literally in the field, outstanding in their field, working with customers and making sure that natural resources are cared for as well as they possibly can. Did I mention that it's not the technology, it's the people who use it? We do have a number of things going on, and I'm very proud of the partnership we have with our Office of Procurement and Property Management, who's very well attuned to things like computers being left on overnight. And they're helping us monitor and encourage employees to make sure things get turned off. And where that doesn't work, we can actually turn some things off to save power. For 98,000 users, that gets to be kind of important. Beyond that, though, our Enterprise Data Center has taken a number of steps to become Energy Star rated. They've raised their ceilings so that heat can flow up higher and get farther away from the equipment. That takes some of the pressure off. They've got some new chillers that are themselves energy efficient and are helping to keep the whole data center energy efficient, and that's allowed them to one of the things that's allowed them to lower rates to the agencies over the last couple of years. Since 1949, being more holistic about USDA for a moment, USDA's mission has been to bring telecommunications to rural America. And coming out of the rural development mission area where those programs reside, it was very keen in my mind that we needed to keep working on that in OCIO. particularly as a direct support provider to 2,800 field locations for FSA, MRCS, and rural development, most of them in rural areas, looking for those partnerships back to the rural utility service and local telephone cooperatives and telephone companies that are the borrowers of the rural utility service to try to get a path forward to increase access to broadband in rural America. Because a lot of the things we're talking about, web-based access to programs, if you don't have high-speed internet access, aren't really all that valuable to you. You still need to get in the car and drive to an office if you're going to effectively sign up for programs. So I'm proud of the partnerships that we're forming with the program side of the house because we have a common mission and a common need and common opportunities. I think the thing I'm proudest of in now 20 months as the CIO is our CIO Council. When I first started in this position, they were meeting every other month whether they needed to or not. At my insistence, they started meeting every month. At their insistence, we're now meeting weekly. We have an advisory board that meets with me every Thursday and helps shape the agenda for our full council meetings, and they're taking real ownership. These are dedicated IT professionals. I have not spent my whole career in information technology. This is my first IT job. But I'm blessed to be surrounded by agency and staff office CIOs who have been at this for years and are really good at what they do. And I'm just so pleased that they've taken ownership and are helping us create a future for USDA.